From Uasin Gishu County, however, I want to take you to Nyeri County, where the government there unveiled a 7.6 billion Kenya shillings budget yesterday that saw the introduction of a 30 million Kenya shilling ward-specific allocation for development in each ward, as negotiated by members of the county assembly. Now, get this, like other counties, Nyeri is struggling with a huge recurrent budget that is taking up 68% of the budgeted funds. And
Martin Munene speaks to the CEC in charge of finance on what this means. Martin, apart from the fact that it's 68% is going to expenditure, talk to us about some of the development projects that are a priority for the Nyeri.
All right, a very good morning to you, Higa and Zinzi in studio. And like you rightly put it, 7.6 billion shillings to be spent in Nyeri. Sadly, the bulk of that money goes to recurrent expenditure. Now, Nyeri County is a county that has the backbone as agriculture, but this particular budget has put a lot of emphasis on infrastructure, a lot of roads that are normally called mashinani roads, roads that connect villages and small shopping centers. I want to speak to the man in charge of the money, or the man with the money in Nyeri County, to help us understand. Now, there has been a lot of calls from a lot of members of the county assemblies across the country that they should be given some money for them to be able to develop their wards, something similar to what the MPs get from the national government in forms of the national CDF. Now, I want to speak to him to understand, one, whether this is a calculated move by the government to ensure that the MCAs, toe the line, or if you like, they will work together with the executive. Of course, there has been a lot of friction in a lot of countries, or counties rather, when it comes to the executive and also the assembly. And also we want to know what will the people benefit, the Nyeri benefit, especially considering the fact that a lot of the money will be meant or will be spent, just running the affairs of the county. A very good morning to you, sir. 68% is no small percentage. It goes to expenditure. Very little is left for development. What is your take on this, and maybe what will you do, or what is the government planning to do to ensure that moving forward more money will be actually allocated to development?
Okay, thank you, Monene. I think it's also imperative to know that you cannot run a development budget alone. Development must be supported by recurrent, and I want to understate that the huge chunk of money will go to health. To drive health, you need nurses, you need doctors, you need special people, maybe in the lab or in the pharmaceutical units, just to ensure that this happens. You need to pay those people salaries and wages. You need cash flows, you need food. All these are factored into recurrent expenditure. So it is not wrong to have a recurrent budget which is high or huge. You need vehicles, you need fuel, you need operation and maintenance to run that. So the fact that the budget of Nyeri is over 68% on recurrent is not, we have not broken any law. The law demands that not less than 30% goes to development. So according to the PFM Act, we are in line with what is required. Number two, given the priorities that have come up, you realize that Nyeri County is under the UHC program. And this is an area that we cannot really ignore, because it's the health of the people. So the huge chunk goes to health, and most of it, of course, is recurrent. Going to the issue of the ward-specific funds, this is not ward development fund. I want to clarify, because we don't have law on ward development fund. So what we have done, this is an all-inclusive budget. We have worked very closely with the county assembly, and I want to say that the members of the assembly have been very vocal. They have been very participatory in the process, and with the executive, we agreed that we set aside 900 million. That is 30 million per ward. Now, I want to correct here that this money will not be spent by the members of the county assembly. These are projects that they have identified for their people, with their people, and they have proposed them to the executive. So what the executive will do is look at one ward and say, they have proposed a road, they have proposed an early child, a nursery school or something like that. And then the next thing is the department concerned will implement. It is the work of the executive to implement. The work of the member of the county, member of the county assembly is to oversight. Yeah. So there is no place. All the money will be run here in Treasury. Okay. There is nowhere the MCA or the member of the county assembly will hold that money and go to implement individual programs. Right. So within law, it is we are home and dry. Right. It is the executive and the specific department to implement the programs proposed under the 30 million.
All right. I can't let you go before we talk about agriculture, because the people of Nyeri mostly depend on agriculture. What exactly, you gave about 420 million shillings to that department. What are some of the projects maybe the government intends to implement when it comes to agriculture briefly?
Okay, one of them is we shall continue with the green initiative. We want to give more support in terms of mango, avocado and macadamia seedlings. We want our farmers to benefit from this as an income generating activity. Number two, we also want to make sure that our farmers get into fish production. We want to make sure that the facility in Wamagana is fully operational. Of course, through supporting the farmers in production, we want to make sure that the fords are revived and the various dams that we have are equipped with fingerlings. The other very important area is to ensure that Wambogo ETC is operational, as well as Narumoro EMS. You know, Nyeri happens to be hosting those key facilities, and we have already moved a bill to the assembly to ensure that the institutions are semi-autonomous. So in the process, they'll be operating a budget, of course, within law, and be audited by the Auditor General in the normal process. But at the same time, they'll be generating revenue for the county. So those are key areas that in agriculture we have ventured in. We are also lucky that we have a Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture, which is a donor-funded program, and it is addressing various areas, especially the dry areas of Kieni and Mukurweini. Right. So for agriculture, I think we are good. And as I live now, we are going to address the coffee issues. We are going for a serious forum with all the governors in the Central Central Regional Economic Bloc in Naivasha. The key focus is coffee. What do we do about coffee? Right. What should it that we should pull together?
All right, thank you very much. All right, Wahiga Nzinzi, I hope you got it. 30 million shillings powered to ensure that the needs of the people or the things that people want actually done inwards happens. And he says 30 million shillings for every single ward. I had spoken to some MCAs yesterday, and they were saying that they are really happy about this, because they were saying that it eliminates the chance that in case for example, an MCA is not in good terms with the county government or with the governor, then the area would suffer maybe or will be underdeveloped at the expense of MCAs that support the governor. But they were saying that the fact that every single ward has about 30 million shillings geared or directed towards development, they hope that their people at the grassroots level will be able to feel the effect or the fruits of devolution, as we call it. And from Nyeri County, I bring it back to you in studio. Wahiga Nzinzi, I'm Martin Monene.